Live. Hello, everyone. Hope
Awesome.
you're all doing well. Good morning, good evening from whichever part of the world you are joining in, or you might be listening later. I'm Supreet, and today I'm here with a very special guest, Amir. We actually connected over LinkedIn, and that's why I talk about the power of networking. He invited me to a session, and now again I invited him for my session for Data Buzz. And if you are joining for the first time and you don't know what Data Buzz is, it was an initiative started by me a few months back, just to engage audience who wants to pivot in this field. So we invite people who have had a very different, a non-traditional journey to break into the field, and they share their journey and we learn from them. So Amir is one of the guests today, and we are starting this fall fireside chat series. So every week you'll see new guests, but we have an opening guest today, who's Amir. So I'll let Amir introduce himself, and then we will start the conversation. And please feel free to type in your questions. We'll take it as they come, and some we'll also take in the end. So Amir, over to you.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to open the Fireside Chat series again, and I'm truly honored for that. Um, so a quick introduction about myself. I am Amir Memon, currently working as a graduate engineer for data science, advanced analytics and artificial intelligence team, Atkins. Um, okay, outside of work, I also love reading. I'm an avid reader, passionate writer, trying to be an influential speaker, and also a lot more things that I think I should not label myself as. But also beyond all of that, human. And yeah, to be more like to let you know about my day to day, how my day to day looks like, as in my profession. So every day, I think every it looks different because it is
Yeah,
also very different in terms of projects or what are you working on. So when there are projects that are and doesn't have a lot of different stakeholders or clients from outside, I think I own a lot of monopoly, or the way where I have the ability to like take the project however I can, like try different tech stacks and use whatever technology I am free to. But yeah, in projects where there are a lot of stakeholders and clients involved, and there are people from the outside. So we usually have senior data scientists and people who are entry level data scientists like me as well. So yeah, that's how it looks. And yeah, my day to day, or my most of my work looks like um, writing coding scripts, automation scripts. Also, since I am into an entry level role, I also get to taste the flavor of data engineering along with data science, like a mix of both things. So, however projects come, and the kind of work that is, we get to explore both. So that's a plus.
awesome, awesome. So before we dive deep into your work, and if you are ready to share any interesting project, you started, you were a petroleum engineer. So you basically, your degree was in petroleum engineering, and then you pivoted into this field. So talk about that. How did you do that? How hard it was to kind of pivot? Because I can imagine the things you would have
Yes.
gone through, the questions you would have faced during the interviews. So yeah, just describe about that.
Okay. Um, So it's very long story, and I have articulated, I think, more than 2,500 words on it. But yeah,
Yeah.
to put that into short, so I think it was like December 2020 that I finally, decided that let's give it a try. But before that, it was mostly ruminating about my career progression, because it was COVID time. We were the graduates, like we were the graduating class who was facing the hard times of COVID. And so happened that I realized that maybe petroleum engineering, or like the job that it brings along, it's a field job, and I don't envision my personality working there. So it was very obvious to me. So I think that's when I decided to ruminate a lot about my career progression. I used to talk to a lot of people, to a lot of different, about a lot of different careers, especially the hot one, like product manager, data scientist, and all of that. So yeah, and then I think one fine day, I decided that let's give it a try. Because I was in my final year, also I had a limited time, and I still was hopeful and optimistic because there was a lot like before that also I had a lot of things on my plate, like leadership exposure, experience, and I entered with a open mind and a will to explore. So I had along with my academics, I also had a lot of other extracurricular activities as well, which did that soft skill and exposure. So I was somewhat by the end of the 6 months when I graduate, I think I should find something. But let's also can try this new thing and learn about data science. So I started in January. I went through a few introductory courses with Python. Started with Python. Then I think the first thing that I did was log into DataCam and access the free course, like the 3 months free subscription, and then went ahead with that. And then it was time that I start doing projects, and also like in the final year we usually have a BTech project, right? So we need to submit a thesis, and I think one thing that I would like to mention here is when you are like new to learning data science, don't pick up things that are where you have to assimilate data and then work on it, because that comes as the very tough aspect or tough part, because you also have to put in a lot of effort to assimilate data from different sources. So try to work on data sets, that because that will save your time, and also it will give you more room for applying techniques that you have been learning. So this is something that I learned, and yeah, so that's how it went. I think I received a A plus on my BTech project, which was really I put a lot of effort into it. So that's how it went, and I think all through this while, by the time I finished my final semester exams, I then started seeing it because it was time that I applying to a lot of companies but not hearing back from any. The trend that we are seeing right now, people usually they want experienced people, but they also don't want to experience, like it's the chicken and the egg problem. They want experienced people, but they don't want to hire experienced people. So yes, um, somehow it went like that, and by the time I think after a month or so, I think in less than a month, it so happened that one of my juniors were working as an intern at a company, and I also happened to see the LinkedIn post where they wanted to hire fresh graduates who had exposure, like who had engineering, who had done engineering, but they understand the engineering problems, but they also had a bit of understanding of technology and how they can solve those problems. So I think I thought of applying to it, and then when I asked my junior how is it, like how what are they expecting and all, so he mentioned that there are I think few essential things that they're expecting. So by that time I was already doing a lot of classes. I joined workshops from IIT Delhi, and there was a summer of ML workshop from which they used to host. Then I was also doing anti courses. So I think it was time that I did all of these things prepare myself for interview, because that's the only off-campus interview that I faced at that time. So it was really hard, as you said, that you have to go through a lot of rejections. Also, there's then you suddenly find that there's one fine company that wants to take a role on you, and then you have only that one opportunity. So within I had a call with a recruiter from Atkins, and he scheduled the interview in the next 4 days. So I only had 4 days to wrap everything up, and I think I started messaging a lot of people, understanding what are the most essential skills and entry level data presentation. So to know a few skills like processing and all, but which I those courses only Python and machine learning and other aspects. So I started covering that. I think my pace went very high in the race. Yeah, and I wrapped everything up, and it went well, and now I'm working. So that's
That's an
10 minutes
amazing.
about it.
I feel like a 10-minute journey, but I feel like that was like you summed it up for us in 10 minutes, but I feel like there was a long trail of maybe, a few months, which kind of led you to your final destination. So the there are a few things that you mentioned, right? But would you say like the top two things that kind of first gave you clarity that you wanted to do data science, and second, like led you to your job was one was networking, as you said, like you spoke to a lot of people, try to understand their journey, try to understand like what a data scientist does. And the second thing that you mentioned is you did a lot of courses on your own, so basically a lot of learnings. So would you say those were the top two things that led you there?
Yeah, absolutely. At any given day, networking and scheduling those one-on-one calls and basically trying to understand, because a lot of people who make it through unconventional paths, they also go through a lot of challenges that you might. It's really important that know the challenges beforehand and be prepared, and know how to
Yeah,
tackle them. So it's really important, and yeah, that really helps. Also, yeah, I schedule a lot of one-on-ones and try to learn, yeah, because that also builds confidence. Like, let's say you
yeah,
try learning, but after time you face rejection, and
yeah,
it so happens that you might not want to. Time you go and talk to someone who might inspire you, whose story might inspire you. So that's really
yeah,
important to keep talking to a lot of folks. And yeah, second would yes, putting in that effort. And also, I would say I would another comment that trying to build a bridge, because I was asked few specific questions in my interview. Um, I prove that I am able to handle if I don't know something, or if I don't have the background to take up something, I can still do that, because I had to create a parallel to show that okay, I have used technology, some sort of technology, not exact coding, maybe some industry relevant software or something, to solve a specific industry problem, let's say petroleum engineering problem. And then I had to understand or go through a lot of chemical engineering aspects to solve a petroleum engineering problem. So these were something I tried to showcase them. Okay, if I can do this, I can also quickly learn coding, or quickly get through it and try solving the problems that you're facing, because I can bring in that engineering to that looking for. So yeah, you also have to have that self awareness where your strengths lie and how you can showcase them in a way that makes them easy for you to trust.
exactly, exactly. So when you were trying to reach out to these people, right, like what are some of the tactics that you followed? Because that's one question that we get. And today also, pre-session, I got this question from some of the people who wanted to join, but are not, but couldn't for some reason. So they were like, "Can you ask Amir, like, what are the networking tips, right? Like, how did you reach out to those people? Was through LinkedIn, conferences?"
Totally. I think a is that one-stop solution,
Yeah,
which I used, and I think it's all like personalized messages is the thing, because you need to go through their
yeah,
background to understand what they are working on, what kind of content they are pushing out on LinkedIn, and if you relate with them, you
yeah,
don't need to relate with them. You need to tell them what you're looking
yeah,
for. So, for seeking help, I think you always have to make sure to have that personal connection, make them feel valued, or make them feel that okay, this guy has went through the homework and research about me, and then he is trying to reach out and ask for help. So that
yeah,
is really important.
yeah,
And also being worthy, like, well, this is something that I
yeah,
see a lot of people don't keep in mind. Like, you have to ask them in a way that if whenever it is possible for you, or whenever it is convenient for you, to make sure that you are not
yeah.
consuming a lot of their time, and also feel about that, because they have reached there after a lot of effort. So you might have to be mindful about it. These two things
Yeah.
everyone should keep in mind while reaching out to someone.
I think this is one of the very important things that you
And I think
highlighted.
there
Like it,
from my juniors.
yeah. No, no, go ahead.
So I would like, yeah, I would like to add that like keep in their mind that someone, like, if someone is working at so and so and he is pushing out for, he has a lot of following, he might not reach out, like, respond to me, be available for help. They self reject themselves and just don't have that courage to go and speak.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah,
put in that effort, but will take hardly 5 minutes, but just drop that whatever, like in the extreme, what will happen that they will not respond back. But yeah, you will try. So we always need should
Correct.
try the other two things, be mindful of
Exactly.
others' time as well as yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Like another very important, like this actually seems like common sense, right? That you should respect other people's time, but it is so critical when you are doing networking, like writing personalized messages to people, making them feel like they're special and you are thankful to them for talking to you, even if it's for like 20, 30, whatever time you're scheduling the session. So this is great, Amir. And now let's talk about a little bit of the courses that you did, right? Like if you can, what are like the top two or three resources, I would say, that you found very helpful to start your data science journey?
I think machine learning by Andrew Ng would be at the top of it because it tries to give you a lot of glimpse on what it would look like, or it's a very course, but in the initial, I think, weeks of that course, you get a glimpse into what really much going on, say, the top you or high you get. So you understand how particular functions work, what application wise, how you can apply those techniques and machine learning algorithms where it can be applied. You know, so that's really important. Other thing would go is like I practice Python on, but I think any course that teaches the basics of Python would be good, especially where those Python logics or uh, concepts into or something, or work on a data set. That's really important because it so happens like I started, I learned this hard way that I used to treat courses like learning biology because when we come from a conventional background, we usually have that habit that has everything in one go and a lot of notes, notes, copious notes, and then after a while, you important is you just learn enough here. Don't take a lot of notes. Take notes and quickly apply those learning and then try to understand what gaps are there in your understanding, and then try to reiterate, go back to the material, and then okay, that's how you do it. Earlier, I used to do a lot of, I used to treat it like biology and learning a lot of theory. So that's something that a lot of people when non-conventional biology. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind because it's ultimately you have to be more putting things into practice. Speaking about resources, another I think anything that has to be that has to do with Python. And, yeah, I can list down a few YouTube that really help me. I think Krishna X channel is one, and Code Basics is another one, and a third one I would definitely mention is Tina Huang, and she mentions a lot of things about uh, learning technical things and approach learning things. How could how to build those habits because uh, people who don't come from background, it's really they have to finish a lot of things in the middle. Like other folks have 4 years to get a habit of coding and learning. They don't have, so it's really important to understand how to approach learning technical things. Let's say it will be SQL
Yeah.
or other coding aspects. She talks a lot about things, and yeah, I really follow it. There's a good following also, so you can check out that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel like if you can share those resources, definitely I can put it on the database page as well. And the coding aspect is definitely, I think, one of the most challenging part of data science to get to. Personally, when I feel that, especially if you're not from a comp science background where you've not been exposed to basics of coding in your bachelor degree itself, right? So yeah, that was again another very important point. So did you also focus on building your portfolio? I think they talk a lot about that, like build your data science portfolio or maybe have, personalized Git where you can showcase all your projects. Did you also do that?
Before Atkins, I didn't have a portfolio, but I think after joining Atkins, I have made sure that all of the things that I do in the data community is somehow present. Like I have done a yeah, so I have it on my Medium website about the article on LinkedIn. So whatever projects that I'm doing, I'm trying to showcase my learnings on social media platforms so that people can connect and I get that exposure and visibility for the work that I'm doing, and also from folks, like it is helpful for folks who want to learn more about it.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay,
But
now talking about content. Sorry,
I
yeah, yeah,
would
go ahead.
definitely I would definitely encourage everyone to build a portfolio because that's something that's very
Yeah.
critical, and yeah.
Yeah, same, same. I feel like even I'll encourage people because again, that was one thing that I didn't do when I was trying to pivot in this field. But over time, I've realized the importance of building portfolio or personal brand, right? Like in any way. So I see you are very active on LinkedIn, right? You keep posting, and obviously you took a break, but before that, you were extremely active. So I think one of the things about content creation is it can be nerve-wracking. It can make you nervous to come out there and write your thoughts and pen down your thoughts, and you don't know if people will judge you or what is the reaction you're going to get. So how did you kind of overcome those feelings, and how did you start being a regular content creator on LinkedIn?
Yes, I think I also get a lot of questions around this, that like how do you have that confidence to pen down your
Yeah,
thoughts and share it on. So I think it builds with time, that
yeah,
as you progress you are writing a lot of things, you are sharing, and people are reacting to you, like people are genuinely engaging and networking with you, so people are
yeah,
liking your thoughts. So I think
yeah.
the confidence aspect is something that builds over time, but I think what helped me was uh, or how I approach this is, like I have been a very shy and reserved kid for a long time, like for a long,
Hmm.
really long aspect of my life. And then whenever there used to be a conversation, like I had my own share of ideas and opinions, but
Yeah,
since being an introverted kid, I never got to share that. So somehow
yeah,
that suppression of ideas or things led me to really creatively express myself through words.
hmm,
And
hmm,
yeah, I think I started writing, and then with writing, like I just loved how people reacted to it. Also, a lot of people want to write, they reach out to me, they say that they really want to get started, but then they feel they might get they might don't have enough ideas, they might run out of ideas, or like what will happen if people start judging you, or they have a lot of
yeah,
questions. But I only have
yeah,
one suggestion, that just write it, whatever you think, whatever topic you want to write, and put it out there. And then
yeah.
once you put it out there, then it's very easy, because for the first time it's always tough, right? uh,
Yeah.
you know yeah, you have a lot of thoughts, you have a lot, but then once you put it out there, like people are really, people don't have enough time. We feel like that's a spotlight effect, which is very popular in psychology, that people think
Hmm.
that okay, everyone is spotlighting on me, and everyone is very ready to judge me and yeah,
Yeah.
criticize me, but that's not the case. And you'll also find a lot of people, like it really helped me structure my thinking and to really think on paper, because while writing you can edit your idea, like edit your thoughts, edit your ideas. So with time it really helps you to structure your thoughts, bring more clarity. So
Yeah.
it has been really helpful, and I think the only advice I can give is just post it out there, and once
Yeah.
you go over it, it will be easier with
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So another question that I think was kind of popular when I put it out there is that if someone wants to, maybe break into the same company as you, be a data scientist at Atkins, what are some of the things that they need to know before preparing for the interview, and how to get through the process?
um, I think you really need to understand how to showcase your strengths and weakness. Like for in my case, it was coming from a non-tech background, yet being able to highlight the problems. I'm also able to use technology. I don't have experience
Yeah.
much, but I am able. So for folks, like based on your background, just have that introspection and self-awareness of what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, how can you ensure that it comes out as something that is very aligned in alignment with the job description in what they are expecting. So you need to know about the rules and responsibilities. um, I think also for an entry level job, people really, people don't understand. They freak out. They want to learn everything. They want to have everything. They want
Hmm.
to have everything under their portfolio or bucket. They want to also go for a deep learning and everything. So I think this has been said in another session where I gave, like I was a panelist, and people really called it out that for an entry level data scientist job, you don't have to know everything. You need to focus on the basics, get the mathematics and statistics part right. Um, know ML algorithms, at least the basic ones. Like you should know regression, you should know logistic regression, classification, clustering algorithms, some basic idea need to have. Then you need to understand what are main Python libraries like NumPy and Pandas. What are some tricky questions that where you need to append rows. You know, um, you like there can be a lot of questions, a bit tricky ones. So you don't have to really dive into a lot of details. You just have to cover the basics and well enough. I think that should be fine.
So, as a data scientist right now, how would you say that your days, or let's not say a day, but a project, right? How much time do you think you're spending on just preparing the data? Because obviously, the word out there is that everyone spends like 70 to 80% of their time in just preparing data, and 10 to 20 is the glamorous data science that everyone kind of foresees. It's going to be about doing modeling and all the
I
glam stuff. So, what would you describe your role as?
I would totally second that, and I think you like hit your nail on the head exactly,
Yeah,
very correctly. Even a lot of time you have to do tasks that are repetitive and not
yeah,
glamorous at all.
correct.
You like you'll feel you'll really suck at doing it and you don't want to do it, but then
Yeah,
that's the part of the process. You need to clean the data, you need to prepare data to unzip, extract
yeah,
files and everything. So like I'm currently we are almost about to finish the computer vision project, but there is so much of data and I had to do this again and again and again. Like every time some new data used to come in the form
yeah,
of images and videos, you need to unzip those files and rename those files so that
yeah,
it is in the pipeline and we have the correct names with the convention. So these are some things that are really repetitive and consume a lot of your time. Like you mentioned, like, I think yeah, I would say 70 to 80% for sure. And yeah, then the glamorous part comes in the form of modeling and
mm,
iterating over the models, training,
mm,
and
mm,
going through the accuracies and so yeah, that aspect is also there. But then yeah, at the end of the day, you need to like you also should know about all of this before jumping into data science. That every
yeah,
job has its own frustrating element, and this is something that a lot of people in data science relate as one frustrating
yeah,
element. But some people also enjoy this. So yeah, you need to know all of this. That not don't go for the hype, don't go for the salary. Know everything and know what will be expected of you beforehand, so that you
yeah.
set the right expectations.
Yes, yeah. That's again, that's very apt suggestion, and especially if you're starting out your career. I think another thing that the audience is curious to know is what's next for you. Are you planning to do your masters? Are you planning to pivot, in this field as a senior leadership role?
I think I like after I started humiliating a lot, in 2020, like 2020, 2021, early 2020, I have realized that going for a master's or a like dedicated program, the idea has for personally for me, like many people go and it's really helpful for them, but personally for me that idea has taken a step back because I feel if I can learn things online and apply and do it all by myself, I think uh, in the future I'm saying it that okay, maybe at some point I might go for a master's, but at this point I'm not looking for a to transition into higher senior roles. I am not looking for a master's. Yes, I think next thing would be just like building a brand, building communities, being a part of those communities, and
Yes.
creating a huge brand by myself, and
Yes.
helping a lot of people who are transitioning into the data science domain from unconventional paths like myself, and creating a lot of content around that space. So
Wow.
that's something that I'm proud of.
I think that's one of the, I mean, very different goals. Like when you usually talk to people who are kind of starting out their career, the next thing is, oh, I want to do this, earn this. But I feel like it's great to hear something different, right? Like I want to create a personal brand and everything. And a lot of people realize later in the career the importance of building a personal brand, which I feel should have been kind of the first thing that comes in your mind beforehand, right? In the early stages of your career itself. So I think that is great. So Amir, I do want to conclude the session, but I would like you to kind of give any one last message or any suggestion that you would like to give to the budding data scientists out there.
Sure. I think I would like to say, firstly, I would like to say that be open, have really open mindset about a lot of things, because that helps, and that will help you in a lot of ways. Like, be curious, be open to opportunities, collaborations, and maybe writing things out, sharing it out in the world, because that will bring a lot of things to you that you will never think of.
Yes.
That's one thing. To the budding data scientists, I think, please do your due diligence and research before getting into the field. Know your whys, because that's really important. A lot of people, want to get in, but they just want to get in for the hype or the money, and that's not true, because we see a lot of people unsatisfied in their careers as well, even being in the sexiest job of the century, right? So this is something that you should always know your whys why you get into this field, and yeah, just have a lot of one-on-one conversations, talk to a lot of people, be a part of communities like databuzz, follow people, follow thought leaders, understand how did they reach there, and yeah, I think that would be it. uh yes, I think those are the two things that I would like to share.
Yeah, and also follow Amir for more such useful content that he keeps posting on LinkedIn, which is, really great to read. So, with that, thank you everyone who was able to tune in. And if you'll be watching later, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Amir or myself. And we do try to get those questions to our speakers, our past speakers, our future speakers. So, thank you all for joining, and I will end the slide.